Good evening, Savages, and welcome to another episode of Savagely Paranormal. Tonight, we are discussing demons. Yeah, we were at Buckland's a few years ago for my birthday, me and Brian, and they have a demon a box with a demon inside. It's surrounded by salt. Now let's take flash photography of it.
They want to make it mad.
No, but the demon on the picture behind the box is Balthazar. His role was to sow discord among men and seduce them to evil through wealth.
Sounds like a pretty easy task.
He was originally a Moabite god that was kind of absorbed into Christianity. He is the sexual power and fertility, which is interesting. There's a lot of demons. I use that term loosely because there's a lot of
Entities
that are classified as demons in Christianity, but not classified as demons in other religions. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting.
And a lot of them are all with fertility.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Right. He was an angel in the order of principalities before his fall, which is kind of like an archangel. Mm-hmm. He is a archdemon, according to Christianity now, and he is like a counterpart to, like the angels that rule the Sephirot, mm-hmm. which is like the tree of life kind of stuff, which it's weird. It's interesting.
It's kind of odd.
Yeah. But he's supposedly in the box at Buckland's Museum, which is kind of interesting, considering he's an archdemon, how that would...
I'd be the one there with the camera going, oops, I forgot to turn off the flash. What's he going to do?
Yeah, there's a big sign on the bottom that says, no flash photography because it irritates the demon.
They did give an explanation of that. They said a few people that have taken flash photography got extremely bad migraines from upsetting the demon.
Oh, it's a headache.
Right.
Well, I mean,
He's got to do more than a headache to get my attention.
Right. So his sacrificial offering is excrement.
Nice.
Yeah. He's the incarnation of one of the 7 deadly sins. Mm-hmm. He is sloth in their sin category thing. Yeah, so he's besides lust and sex, he governs great riches. He is very difficult to conjure, apparently.
Well, I mean, if he's stuck in a box...
Right. I can't get out.
It's said that if you do manage to summon him and he likes you, he bestows great treasures and wealth and gives you the abilities to make discoveries and create inventions. It's interesting.
Sounds like a few of the famous people in the world today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention any names.
In hell, he rules over inventions and discoveries, and he is the infernal ambassador to France.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sloth is, characterized by negligence and apathy. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and they say that he governs all sins that arise from ignorance are caused by him. Yeah. And there are stories about him coming to Earth to check on the marital status of the humans, and
he had to have fun with that one.
And he was very appalled and went back to hell, thankful that intercourse between men and women does not exist there.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's just weird. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely, like, it's just weird that, like, he would, I don't know. I guess he's one of the Targaryen. It's also called, like, the Wranglers.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly sure, like, what that means.
I don't know. Well, my guy that I picked, he's weird. He's not that weird. But he's called, I'm going to butcher it, Baal or Bahal or Baal. It all depends on where you look.
Baal.
But it's Baal, also spelled Bael. So he was, I guess, originally the Lord deity of Canaan, which was its own little place over in
Like the Middle
kind
East
of,
is.
yeah, they gave you a map, so you have to try to place this one spot. Like, the Middle East is over here. It's kind of here, but then on the other map, it's kind of more over here. So I don't think they really know exactly where it was, but it was somewhere in
in the
that
Holy
general
Land.
range. And this is where things get tricky, because some say he was a fallen angel who some of them say this, he was the son of a high god of Canaan and his mistress, who was the goddess of fertility. Go figure. And
Seems
then
to be a running theme.
right. And then others say that he was not a fallen angel, that he is actually a god who is in exile, who was exiled by God because he commanded worshipers to harm themselves or others in worship. He would have them prick their fingers and leave the blood on the altar with the sacrifices. Now, the sacrifices they had to give were their firstborn sons. Yeah. So, it is a divine commandment that no deity can command their followers to do harm to themselves or anyone else. So that's why he was exiled. Supposedly the people would sacrifice their firstborn sons to avoid droughts, famine, earthquakes, any of the such. He was kind of a god of fertility, but not just with people. He kind of oversaw the harvest, the crops, all of that. And he went into battle with Mot, who is the god of death, and he lost. His sister, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, but it's Anath. She gave him proper burial, and he came back. And that's how we ended up with that whole thing, how he controls the crops and the season, kind of, and all the plagues, earthquakes, that kind of thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. He is supposedly equal rank with Archangel Raphael. So you've got the good guy up here, you got the bad guy down here, but they hold the same rank just for the opposite teams.
Yeah, they're like counterparts.
Yeah. He's been seen as a bull. He's been seen as a guy with 3 faces. One in the middle is always human, and then there is a toad and a cat. He's been seen appearing like a soldier, a king, or the 3-faced thing with spider legs.
I don't like spiders. So.
No, I don't do spiders.
No.
He has the power to bestow wisdom and invisibility. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind being invisible for a little while.
I'm a middle child. I'm largely invisible.
Right. I'm the black sheep, so I'm pretty much invisible. Some believe he was the king of hell before being dethroned by the devil. His name, Baal, is actually the name for many other deities, just because it simply can be translated into God. But none of them are the same type of deity as he is. He's special. There's not much as far as what he wants from people now, other than them.
Right.
I mean, people give him offerings now to get his wisdom and whatever other things that he can bestow upon them. Because I don't know myself, I don't know about the whole invisibility thing. But
Yeah.
you make pacts with him and he can help you with whatever it is that you want. But there's really I tried to search for stories involving sightings of him, interactions with him. There's been a few people that have said he's like showed up in their dreams. They see him as a bull. The one saw him and she had a conversation with him, and again, who knows? But she said that he didn't tell her his name, but she knew who he was. And then she made a comment about, well, I didn't think you'd look like this. And he's like, well, what do you want me to look like? And he shapeshifts into a typical devil, as he is known for shapeshifting.
But aren't most demons like known for shapeshifting?
Right.
I mean, like that's kind of like their big common trait. Like
Yeah.
they shapeshift to make you trust them.
They can look like anything they want to look like. They can look like a little kid.
Well, technically, angels can do the same thing.
Right.
So.
Any sort of spirit kind of can.
Yeah, no, that's not my favorite thing. Like
Why
going
do, why do angels look more demonic than actual demons?
Well,
Well, I don't know.
the only really kind of, I guess I shouldn't say this, but the cool thing about him is that it seems like there's a lot of people researching him right now, and they're actually starting to worship him again, which is kind of intriguing
It is.
from this perspective. But
It's intriguing until he possesses somebody, and then
right,
they have to have an exorcism.
well,
right,
And there's where you're stereotypically categorizing him into the Christian religion again.
Right. Well,
A lot of demons or devils or anything of that sort that Christians deemed as evil weren't always evil.
That's true.
true. But I can't get on board with having people sacrifice their firstborn.
You think early Christians didn't sacrifice? Oh.
No, I'm sure they did. Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
in my mind, I can't say, yes, this is a good guy, but yet he wants you to sacrifice your firstborn.
It's a show of loyalty.
Yeah, I get that.
You have a question.
No?
Oh,
Are demons not fallen angels?
not all of them, no.
No, not all of them.
Like this one, for instance, some people say he is a fallen angel. Other people say he was a god who was exiled.
Yeah. Not every. So, like, Belphegor, he is. Only in Christianity is he a fallen.
Right.
In other religions and other places around the world, he is actually a deity, like a god. It just kind of depends on which narrative you follow.
Right.
If you're following Christianity, a lot of other deities from other religions are all considered demons because they don't want you to believe that there's more than one God.
Right. And anything that doesn't follow the straight and narrow is considered a demon in Christianity, where, like I was saying, I can't get on board with the whole sacrificing your firstborn. Okay.
But
But
a
like
lot of
Brian
people did.
said, that's how things were back then. So that's just kind of commonplace. So it's,
Well, I'm like back in the day, like you have to think that like a lot of these are like old. Like it's
Yeah.
before modern
Like,
religions
way.
took place. Like we're talking like like the Incas, the Mayans,
Mm-hmm.
they all sacrificed to their gods
Right.
to bring about changes for the betterment of the community. So
Right. And that's what they thought worked, They said, hey, I'm going to sacrifice my firstborn son and I'm going to have a plentiful crop this year.
right. And it's not necessarily that everybody did it. It was usually selected as like one person, one family from the community
It
would
was
sacrifice.
Basic lottery. If you haven't done it, there's a chance you're chosen.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it was a really big honor to have your kid be chosen to be the sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like how it is today with, I hate to compare it, but like the terrorists and stuff. Over where they're from, it is a big honor to be chosen to be the one to go cause the damage and sacrifice yourself.
Yeah. It's very similar in that regards. And like for like the Incas and the Mayans and stuff, when they were sacrificing people, they were throwing large celebrations in
Mhm.
order to do it, in order, to appease the gods. And like their sacrifices were treated very, very well up until they died.
Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of depends. Like
Yeah, he had a whole huge temple, and I mean, it was extravagant for the time period.
a lot of them did.
Yeah. But the one cool thing before we get onto another one, this is what really intrigues me about how people are like starting to worship him again, and there are 1,000 links you can go read and go down that wormhole, but the most intriguing one is that the Burning Man Festival in Nevada, they're saying that is actually a worship devoted to him, because it's primarily most of what he stood for is there. You've got the sex, drugs, the rock and roll, the party, the this, that, and the other.
Big giant effigy that they burned.
Yes. And so
Interesting.
they said if you actually go and look through everything and compare it with what he stood for, what he represented, it is pretty much a worship for him.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting that a lot of the older gods and deities are making their way back through, including like some of the demons. Like a lot of Solomon's magic is working with
Oh, I forgot that
things
part. Yeah.
that are considered demons in Christianity, and like making pacts with them in order to benefit from their
We'll
gifts.
do a whole nother podcast on that one. But he's one of Solomon's, what is it? Is it 72 or 27 or
72.
72?
Yeah. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, but interesting.
But again, all these old demons are coming back around. Is it because of the world we're in right now? Have we come full circle because of all the chaos and turmoil and
I mean, it's possible.
like the whole end of days thing?
They say history repeats itself.
Yeah.
Bev said she'll sacrifice to Dionysus.
Everybody wants a good party.
Dionysus, that's the god of wine, right? Yeah.
Is
And
it?
it's the Greek god of
All right,
wine.
Bev, I'll take you up on that one.
Yes, he's the Greek god of wine, I
Or
believe.
no, Roman.
Roman Greek. I know he's the god of wine. I know that.
I know his counterpart.
I will fully agree to worship that god.
I want to say that's Roman because I think the Greek one is Bacchus.
Well, we'll just worship both of them. One in
It's-
each hand.
It's the same deity, just Greek or Roman.
It's pretty much the same deity. It's different names.
Yeah.
Depending on location.
Well, that's how most
Pretty
of
much
these are.
do the same thing.
That's how most of these are. If it's even if it's like you said, it's a god in this one, a demon in this one, they're the same one if you compare the stories. It's just how they're interpreted.
Yeah.
I have a couple, but they go outside the realm of everything else.
That's all right.
That's all right. That's how you
So-
normally roll.
So we got Mephistopheles, not to
Bless
be
you.
also known as Mephisto, which is interesting enough because I thought he was one of Solomon's demons, and he is not.
Ah.
He comes from the German folklore side of it,
Oh.
and is first seen in the Faust legend. When a man named Faust is willing to sell his soul to the devil, he meets Mephisto. Mephisto warns him that you're going to have a bad time if you decide to go through with this, and Faust commands him to serve him for 24 years. And in those 24 years, when he is done with Mephisto, he will sell his soul to the devil. And during those 24 years, Mephisto keeps trying to tell him and warn him away that this is a bad idea. In the folklore of it, Mephisto was originally a human.
I think I read this one when I was looking.
And like Faust, he wanted power, he wanted wealth. So he sold his soul to the devil for it and became Mephistopheles. And the other interesting portion of this is he has no ties to Christianity. I think I read a portion of it where he's mentioned once in the Bible, but it wouldn't have been like the King James Version or anything like that because he's not he was never an angel.
Mm-hmm.
Though people try to tie him to Lucifer, even though he has no part of Christianity.
Okay. Well, that goes with the question we had about, yeah.
His name meaning, it's a corrupted Greek compound. Pretty much ties back to the Latin mephetic. Designates places in the world where poisonous vapors seep through. Could be pools, caverns.
Okay.
Basically, vapors that are destructive to human life. Much as he didn't want to be destructive, it's that form.
Mm-hmm.
The other I came across that I was searching while I was searching for something to talk about was Pazuzu, not to be confused with The Exorcist. The movie The Exorcist. Pazuzu is the demon in The Exorcist. Not the same thing. The iconography that they use is the same, but that's where the similarity ends.
Okay.
Pazuzu was a Mesopotamian demon, personification of the southwestern wind, and had kingship over the Lilu demons, or wind demons. He is an entity that is both destructive and dangerous as a very strong wind, as that is what he is.
Mm-hmm.
But he is also repellent of other demons.
Oh.
Interesting.
His believers found that he was said to be very protective of pregnant women and mothers. Protecting them against the goddess or a demoness. I don't remember which it was, and it's, I believe, family to him. She was another wind demon.
Mm-hmm.
But it's protective against her machinations.
Okay.
He's invoked in rituals and representations that are used as defense charms.
Huh.
He was, he's used in Mesopotamian white magic. So as it shows, not all demons are evil.
Right.
His form being, if anybody has seen The Exorcist, they know the demon statue that is associated with it. Very grotesque looking human with wings, claws. His inhuman and grotesque form was said to frighten away unwanted visitors.
Okay.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Like,
He has two main aspects. The first is demon of the home as a domestic spirit, protecting your home against various other demons that would wish to do you harm. Something maybe your neighbor set against you.
We need one of them.
And his second aspect was that of a wandering wind demon. Said to traverse the mountains, representing the more wild nature of him.
Okay, so like, would that be like something where in the desert where they have the sandstorms and stuff? They could say
tornado.
that, yeah.
Outside of the Mesopotamians, he would be viewed as like a jinn.
Okay.
okay. And like jinn are like
Not always malevolent as people say. They're another
like genies, right? Kind of
genie,
sort of.
jinn. That's basically the same thing, depending on the translation, how you spell it.
They're like the like Arabic version.
Yes.
Yeah. I see that a lot on like online videos and stuff, and some of the shows that we watch online.
Somebody I follow on Facebook, he's out in Oregon. He's had a lot of interactions with the jinn. Generally, when he comes across them, they're not necessarily evil. They're more, what's the word I'm looking for? More like troublemakers, trickster
They're-
type thing.
Some are tricks. They can run the whole gamut of.
Yeah.
They can be malevolent. They can be benign. They can be tricksters.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like YouTube videos where some of the explorers that we've seen on YouTube, that are in the Middle East, like they see them like run through houses and like not really do a whole lot other than like occasionally they'll throw some stuff to kind of
Yeah.
like distract you, but they just like appear in the windows and then like disappear, and like this guy's chasing them through the desert through different houses, like abandoned houses, and it's a lot. It's a whole lot.
He's got some pretty cool videos of it just like running. It's the same house, but he just like peep around the corner this way, and then he'll run off over here.
A lot
and
of
then-
times, jinn are what people refer to as shadow people.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that I've seen online in various different like urban explorer type paranormal people that are overseas, like Middle East area, they're all like black shadow, dark shadow figures. It honestly looks like a lot of them look like somebody dressed in like a burqa, which is like, if you don't know,
Yeah.
it's like the Muslim, it's like the head to toe covering, and
Yeah.
a lot of them look like that, like somebody in a burqa like running back and forth,
Yeah.
like weird.
His kind of looked like the Hat Man, but shorter, and then I could see where the burqa would come in, but it definitely looked like the rim, but he was only like this big and kind of the big cloaky like thing.
Like with jinn, though, a lot of times their personality type is directly tied to their element.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like kind of like an elemental-y type. Not really like an elemental, but kind of sort of like an
Have like
elemental.
some of the
They,
characteristics.
they
of
have
an
elemental attributes.
Yeah. Like the guy that videos his house with it's the ghost of
Carmel, Maine.
yes, him, his one video on his little friend or friend, it he like jumps from the bed out of a window. It is so freaking
I
creepy.
have yet to watch his stuff.
No, it's not from the bed to the window. That is, it jumps from the window to under the bed.
Oh, that, yeah.
Oh,
So
cool.
creepy. So creepy.
It looks like a cat standing in the window, and then it just jumps down. It kind of looks like a frog as it exits the window.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
It's so weird.
But then when you see it in later videos, it looks like a person either sitting on the bed or standing behind the door.
Huh.
Right. And like a lot of times like this jinn, they like shapeshift too, so like it's interesting. It's interesting how they like, and like they like yell like prayers at them and stuff like overseas to try to like
Well, yeah.
mitigate them.
I wanted to do a whole episode on the jinn, so just go ahead, keep talking, because I hadn't gotten around to researching them much
Well,
yet.
that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So let's see. What else can we do with demons? I can tell you my story.
Go for it.
I won't say where this happened or who was involved, but we were investigating, and the child that was having problems was seeing things, was being grabbed at night, was being told things while they were sleeping, had seen things crawl across the floor, had seen the red eyes, had rolled over in the middle of the night and vomited red all down their
Ugh.
stairs of their bunk bed.
Gross.
So when we were investigating the room, we were getting some really good EVPs, and we kept hearing this little growl. We're like, okay. So, me, stupid one, of course, crawl up.
always you.
Of course. Crawl up to the bunk bed. I climb up there, and by this point I'm getting aggravated because, the best you can do is a growl. Really? If you want to fight, let's fight. I mean, you're causing the problems. I'm here to make them stop. Let's go. And yeah, that probably was not the smartest thing because I got the biggest growl, second biggest growl I've ever heard, and the whole bed starts shaking.
Yeah.
So then we go through the whole Hail Marys, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, got rid of them for a little while, but some of them came back. And I think I was on one other case where
Didn't you get something thrown at you?
that was another case. This one, I didn't get it thrown at me, but this house had already had a priest out numerous times. And we were in the garage. There were razor blades being thrown, nails being thrown, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then the one that Brian was talking about, I was in the basement of a friend's house. We were investigating because all the people that were there remodeling the house kept having problems in the basement. Nobody wanted to go down there. Now, let me elaborate. The people that were working on the house are very religious. Very, 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 like, old world religious. And they would come with, their crosses, their, what's the word?
Rosary.
That, thank you. And they would go down there and they're like, no, we can't be down here. We're getting things thrown at us. We feel like we're getting watched. We feel like we're getting touched. We're literally being pushed back out. Again, not the smartest thing to do. I go down there and I'm provoking.
Yeah.
So not much happens. I go back upstairs, decide to go down again. These are the big open stairs. So I'm walking down the stairs. I feel this gust of the coldest air possible come blowing through the stairway around my leg. At the same time, I heard the loudest growl I've ever heard in my life. I screamed like a little girl.
Yeah. I don't like stairs that are
Then
open
I kept going.
for that reason. Like, I always imagine in my head that somebody's going to reach through and grab me, especially in, like...
People under the stairs.
Yeah.
Especially, like, in, like, some of, like, the cases that we have. Like, I'm like, somebody else go first.
Yeah. Well,
Like, I'll go down, but somebody else has to go
Yeah.
first. Because those stairs... No.
yeah.
No. And I don't like the creepy old attic stairs that are, like, rickety and they have, like, the holes that you can see through. No,
Yeah, I don't
I
like
don't
those.
like those stairs.
I will do them, though, if I have to, but no.
If I have to, yeah, but no. And like the one investigation that we had, like a couple months ago, we were all having those really weird dreams about things.
Yeah, where we saw the thing that kind of looked like this thing.
Yeah.
With the little spidery legs and
Spider legs and the human head and
then the fire on the walls and yeah.
Something telling the little kids to start a fire in the
Yeah.
hallways. That was fun.
That was
so
fun.
fun. So fun.
Tons and tons of fun.
So fun.
So,
Yeah.
do you have any demon stories?
Not really.
No.
I'm like, other than like a few here and there, like I don't really have like a whole lot of like really horrible interactions with like demonic things. Like we've worked on a few demonic cases in some of my other teams, so like I'm also the kind of person that is like, there's a something here and I'm out. Like I'm not bringing things home with me because that is my luck, and like, you know, like I've had things thrown at me a few
Yeah.
times, and
Yeah.
at some points being a sensitive is just not safe. Like
Right.
things more easily attach to sensitive people, and so like if I walk in and I feel the heavy air and the stuff, and I'm like, there's not a whole lot of smudging that's gonna fix this. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to talk to like a demonologist, a priest, something else, because sometimes smudging only makes it matte.
Right. Yeah, you can't do that
Parkour.
for everything. Yeah.
Exactly. They do parkour unless you open the windows and the doors. And it's just,
Yeah. People don't understand that though.
no.
They smudge, they salt, and then wonder why
It's
stuff
trapped.
got worse.
Right. But like when I was a kid, my sister and her friends were playing the Ouija board, and one of her friends like levitated off the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. No.
I got one of those stories too.
Yeah, no. They used to love to play the light as a feather, stiff as a board game until their friend tried to kill his sister like a couple weeks later, and then that game was banned because
You
I
ever
never
done
played that game.
Ever done heavy wet sand?
Mm-mm.
maybe
I don't even know what that is.
that's that one where like you imagine you're in heavy wet sand and then like you
Yeah, it-
slip down through like different layers, like different realms and stuff, and like sometimes you can like astral project that way. It's creepy. Do not recommend.
Let's play.
It basically starts off like light as a feather, stiff as a board, but instead of light as a feather, stiff as a board, your friends sit around you chanting heavy wet sand, act like they make the incisions in your arms to pack this heavy wet sand in.
Yeah.
And as they keep going, you start to believe that you are being covered with heavy wet sand. So it starts to get harder to breathe,
I'm
and you will start
claustrophobic.
to
That won't
panic.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. And then some people like they take the heavy wet sand thing to like another extreme. Like
Sandbags.
they'll
No, I ain't playing with you guys.
well, some people also will like, because once you're under so far like in that like trance like state, you can literally send people to other places like creepy places, like different halls and
One-
different stuff, and it's weird. It's weird.
I've heard of people as they, your friend gets hypnotized into that, doing those, that mantra. You can ask them what they're seeing,
Yeah.
and when they tell you, as that, you can have somebody else within that same circle of friends whisper in their ear something else, and give them that suggestion on where they actually are.
Oh yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
It
I
is.
do want to play.
It's weird. It's interesting. It's weird. I've done
Yeah.
it before, and it's
never did
definitely interesting. It's like
They'll-
pretty
they'll-
much like hypnotizing somebody.
And you can ask them to move their arm, and they'll tell you they can't move it.
Yeah. Especially if you start off as the wet heavy sand. Can't move at all. It's like sleep paralysis, but you're
Wow.
like hypnotized in the process of it.
To believe that you are stuck.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
It's interesting. Definitely.
Barking spiders.
It's definitely
close
it's
room.
an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with the Ouija board thing, we need to do one on the whole Zozo.
Yeah.
Because I know when I was a kid and we played with Ouija boards, we didn't know anything about this Zozo demon. But we had the same thing kind of happen where we were all, we were girls. We were teenage girls. We played with the Ouija board all the time. We'd have stupid stuff happen, but no big deal. We're like,
Right.
cool. So we were all having one of my birthday parties in our garage because that was so cool. We were allowed to sleep in the garage unsupervised. So what do? We play Ouija board. And my friend, it was hers. And we're having a good old time. We're talking to people. And somebody said something that made her or it mad. And so then it started going like, you know, how it would just spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. And we're like, what the hell? So, of course, we're kids. We're like, no, damn it, that's not what we wanted. And then it started saying, I can't remember what it said, but it said something that scared the crap out of us. And somebody picked up the Ouija board and threw it. My girlfriend goes this far off the ground, levitating, speaking in this most god-awful voice that we've never heard before. Don't throw my Ouija board. Boom, lights go out. We're all screaming and crying. And
Yeah.
needless to say, we never touched the Ouija board after that.
The Zozo demon, it was Zozo or Mama, the other one was that went with it. What started a couple years back, well, probably about 20 years back now, it was in the early 2000s. Started off as like a creepypasta.
Yeah.
It said it's not supposed to be real. Some people claim the opposite. I can't say either way because I don't play with Ouija boards.
Right.
I have one, but I don't actively play with it. It was my
I know
aunt's.
you can look through.
We have to take that to Defiance.
I have heard tell that if you look through the little circular piece of the planchette, you can see
Nope.
things.
I
I'm
have
not
heard
doing
that.
Mm-mm,
I've
nah.
heard that, and I know we did that as a kid, but for the life of me, I can't remember.
No, I'm not. I am not looking through the little. No.
Go get it. I'll look at it.
Nah. It's at home, but I'm not
I'll
looking
look
through
through
it.
it.
No, I'm not looking
I
through
looked
that
through it at our first investigation I went on with you guys.
I'll look through it.
No.
I don't
I didn't see shit. Poop.
That's-
Bleep.
No, I'm good. Like,
I was doing so good.
I know. I caught myself a couple times.
doing so good. But like, the Ouija board, that is a topic of contention with a lot of people.
Well, how really though? How is that different from a pendulum, dowsing rods, tarot cards?
Not really.
It's not.
But people think it's easier to open the doorway, like a portal between the worlds with the Ouija board because
The board becomes the portal.
yeah. That's why you always have to make sure you say goodbye a whole
Right.
bunch before you put it back in the box.
Right.
Because,
But I mean, technically, you're still doing the same thing with the pendulum or dowsing rods, but you are the conduit.
well, I mean, like you can like Ouija board it with a dowsing rod,
Right.
I mean, or with a
I have
pendulum.
the board for my pendulum.
You can Ouija board it with that. Do I recommend it? Maybe depends on how good you are.
Depends on if you take the precautions.
Yeah, if you take the precautions.
The same precautions that
Yeah.
most people don't take with the Ouija board.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it
You're
ended up
nuts.
getting such a bad name because nobody does the steps that you should do. And
You're not supposed
Because
to play alone.
it's-
That's like
it-
the biggest rules.
Right.
Don't play alone.
It's mass produced by Hasbro or whoever, Milton Bradley, whoever, and it's just a game.
right. Ha, ha, ha.
You know, those things are harder than hell to get rid of too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they come back.
they do.
Sometimes they come back.
Sometimes they come back if you don't like properly like dispose of them. Like we've had that happen before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kind of have
Yeah.
a mind of their own.
Yeah. My
Um,
friends used to joke and say, "What would you do if you ever found a Ouija board on the side of the street?" My
Leave
ass
it.
is leaving that shit there.
leave it.
Look,
It's there for a reason.
we ain't taking that shit home. Nah.
Whoever left it there for a reason. I don't want it.
Exactly. Mm-mm.
What if you're in the middle of the woods and you find one burned into a stump?
Leave it. Don't even
touchy.
look at it. Walk away.
No touchy.
Don't
No
even think
touchy.
about it.
Mm-mm. No. We
Hey
don't.
guys, stand here. I'm going to go get my chainsaw.
No.
No, that you know.
Mm-mm. No touchy. No touchy. No, we're good. Mm-mm. Nah. I'm cool with all
Free
that.
soup.
It's just like if I ever see anything, like the Blair Witch. I see those kind of things hanging
Nope,
anywhere.
I'm
Nope.
out.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
They can stay right there. I'm good.
I'm gonna follow him.
You do that. We'll be back at the car.
Take your walkie with you.
They only work
We'll go
so
get
far.
coffee and meet you when you're done.
Call us when you're done.
Y'all should see all this evidence I got without you.
Don't go through the random doors that you find in
Right.
the woods. No.
No, I want the stairways.
Mm-mm. No. I'm good.
That's a
Yeah.
whole nother subject.
Yeah, that's a whole
I,
other
I would be the
podcast.
one standing at the door going,
They say that
Hanging
people
one
have
leg in.
done that, like on the stairways and the doors,
Yeah.
have like had like their limbs cut off mysteriously. I'm good. No.
no, I would be the one. It would be too hard to not go. Hee hee hee.
I'd be like, take a stick,
No,
put the stick in.
But the stick can't feel the energy on the other side.
But the stick, if you put it in and then you pull it out, you can see if it got shorter.
If they're not gonna cut off a stick,
You don't know that.
they're smart enough that
You
they're
don't
not
know
gonna
that.
cut off
that's
a
about
stick.
that's about the time you see her stick her hand through the doorway, and then she gets pulled through herself.
Oh, darn, we lost her. Shit.
Y'all better grab my feet.
Better hope it don't happen faster than that.
No, God. No. All right, guys. I think that's the end of our podcast this evening.
'Cause
Don't
we're just
forget
gonna
to
ramble.
like, subscribe, turn on notifications, share us with your friends, families,
Enemies,
everybody's.
whoever.
Find us on Discord and TikTok,
Facebook,
Twitter, Instagram.
Twitter. I don't know.
All that social
We're
media
not really
stuff.
active on Twitter at the moment, but we have one, so stay tuned. Also, next weekend, the big investigation at the
Oak Village.
that one. I can't
In
say it.
Defiance, Ohio.
Yes. So excited.
We're gonna try to do some lives. We'll definitely have some TikToks as long as we have cell service. Hopefully, we will have some video that gets uploaded after the event. EVPs, the whole nine.
Yeah.
Should be interesting. We can't wait. We're gonna meet some other paranormal teams from around that are gonna be there.
Yeah. In the next couple weeks, we'll also go over our case files for some of
Yes.
the cases that we've worked on recently.
Yes,
So-
we have our presentations put together for 2 of our clients, and we'll go over that with you guys. Also, stay tuned for our new
Website.
Club Savage.
Oh, and Club Savage, yeah.
That will be coming up soon, along with our new website and our merch shop.
Yes. See you later, Savages.
Bye.